So we've got ourselves a little adventure planned for this weekend. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but I'm headed to Denver so I can do some lab work next week at the Ice Core lab. But tacked on top of that trip, I figured out a way to also tackle a rather quirky little side adventure. So what's the story here? Well, the story is that, as you all know, I am on a quest to summit all of the state high points. Now, this is a pretty common endeavor. Quite a few people consider themselves high pointers and go after the state high points. But if you follow my channel and you follow some of the adventures I've been on, you know that there are a few of the high points that are either really difficult to reach because they're big mountains or technical or really far away, or because they are hidden behind a bunch of procedural red tape or other sort of roadblocks. One of those said high points that's logistically very challenging to reach is the diminutive high point of the state of Illinois, a high point known as Charles Mound. Now, if you go to the High Pointers website, you'll learn that the reason why this particular high point is such a challenge to get to is because it's on private property, and the owners of that property only open that high point for public access on a handful of weekends per year. And so I decided, since I have to take a little trip to the middle of the United States anyway, why not see if I can get myself to Charles Mound? I decided to go a day early, and that's because I bought myself the cheapest possible ticket I could find from Denver to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I'm talking cheap, a Frontier flight for $129. On top of that, I had one free rental day for a rental car, and I was able to use hotel points to get a free room as well. So what does this all mean? Well, ostensibly it means that for $129 and the cost of maybe half a tank of gas, I'm hoping to reach one of the hardest state high points in the country. Okay, we've made it to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Little fancy footwork in the airport. I flew in on my official flight to Denver, and then I just hopped over to a different terminal and got on an entirely different ticket, different flight on Frontier, and made it here, got my rental car, and I'm now heading to my little cheap motel. Okay, welcome back. We're driving along the rural secondary highways of northeastern Iowa. We left Cedar Rapids this morning, said goodbye to that lovely motel room. You get what you pay for. And we are just rolling along in wide, expansive, green farmland. Quite a difference from what I'm used to back home, but this rental car is also a bit janky. The front wheel is like wobbling, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I just want to get through this trip without any incident. This drive across this very specific part of the country has got me thinking about two quick things. First of all is I would never have seen this tiny northeastern corner of Iowa were it not for this high pointing trip. I mean, if I were driving through this part of the country, I would probably just be on an interstate. So by going out and doing these high points, it's getting me to parts of the country I wouldn't normally see, which I think is a really valuable thing. I mean, I want to see these parts of the country. It's such a big country, and there's so many little nooks and crannies that I've never experienced before. I think along those lines, it's got me thinking about something that I'd like to do moving forward. I talked about how I bought the flight for this trip using a budget airline, and it was very cheap. It was $129 to fly here, round trip. And the good thing about flying out of Phoenix is that most of the budget carriers fly out of Phoenix. So you've got the Frontiers and the Allegiants and the Spirits and all these other small airlines. And most of those airlines fly to these smaller cities that don't have like full airline coverage. And so what I think I'd like to do is I'd like to set aside one weekend every year moving forward and buy a budget flight out of Phoenix to some random town in this country that I've never been to before. And I can probably do this for less than $200. And then just spend a weekend doing this. Go to a random place that I've never been to and experience it, live it. It'll be fun spinning the wheel, the random wheel to pick a city each year. But I really think that it will be a valuable experience, both geographically and culturally, to go out and just go on random small town adventures. Mighty Mississippi. This is, man, we're out here. I haven't seen another car in quite some time. So it's kind of cool. Again, never would have been on this road anywhere near here if it wasn't for this Highpoint. Man, we are just so far out in the middle of nowhere. I love it. Jeez, I feel like this could be a Windows wallpaper. Well, if I had to guess, I'm gonna say that the Highpoint is probably this hill just off to the left over here. That looks like, I mean, it's not a lot of relief, but the Highpoint is only a few hundred feet up. And we are about to cross into Illinois just up here. So I'm guessing that's probably it right there. And as I turn this corner, welcome to Illinois. There you go. Just like that. Gosh, yeah, that's gotta be it right there. That's gotta be the mound just off to my left. So we're heading up that small hill right there. Okay, well, we've made it to the entranceway for the Highpoint, as you can see. I can see some people coming down as well. There's another car here. So the Highpoint requires walking up this mile-long grassy road up onto the property. So this is exciting. This is the approach road. That other couple just left. And so, yeah, Charles Mound all to ourselves on this Sunday morning in June. It's so green and there's a lot of bugs. I'm not used to so many flying gnats. People watching this are scratching their head going, why is he walking down a random overgrown grassy road in rural Illinois and yet he's this excited? I've been waiting to check this one off for literally a decade. Okay, well, we've got a little signage here in the middle of nowhere. Look at this, we get to climb a little bit. Getting in some elevation today. All right, well, we're coming up on the property. It's just right up here, so that is the Highpoint right there. That's the mound. It looks like we actually might get rained on, but that's okay. We're so close now that I don't care if I get a little wet. Here we go. I can see the sign. We have made it to the Highpoint of Illinois. Look at that. Fantastic. All right, well, we also have an actual USGS benchmark here that notes, I think this is just a reference marker because it's got the arrow pointing. Looks like we have another benchmark over here as well. Yeah. Charles, yep. So I'm not sure what the nails, maybe they're indicating where the other benchmarks are pointed. So if that's the case, this one's pointed that way. Let's go see if there's another benchmark somewhere over here. Oh, there is. Look at that. Fantastic. Look at that. Yeah. Wow, this one actually says geodetic survey. That's really old. Cool. Well, we've been to all three reference marks now. I've seen this spot so many times from like Google Street View or from people's images, and it's just really awesome to be up here. All right, one thing I do want to do while we're here is I want to sign the register. So yeah, new ownership. This is a new logo. All right, we're gonna be right here. Wow, a lot of people visited yesterday. Oh my goodness, look at all the people that visited yesterday. This is all from yesterday. My goodness. Everybody, there's only been one other family today. Everybody else was yesterday. That's wild. I'm really glad we came today and we dodged all the crowds and we got the mountain to ourselves. So future note, if you're ever planning to come visit this place, come on the Sunday. Number 43. Exciting. Parking must have been an absolute crap show yesterday because there's not much parking down there on the road and 4 pages of cars. I mean, that's like 100 people all came yesterday, and here we are on the mountain by ourselves today. So I kind of don't want to leave, but clouds are starting to get a little dark and looming, so I might actually start heading back to the car. Don't get the impression that this was anticlimactic though. This was very much worth all the extra headaches to get here. See you later, Charles Mound. Oh, I can feel some light raindrops starting to fall now. Good timing. I think the key to doing Charles Mound is showing up early on a Sunday morning of the open weekend, and you really will likely get the whole experience to yourself. Given all the costs and sort of logistical travel headaches of getting here and flying and driving, and now I have to fly back to Denver tonight and check into my hotel late just to get into the lab first thing in the morning. Was it worth it? And again, I say unequivocally yes. It's good to know that as cool as this little place was, I don't have to come back now. I've got it checked off. Goodbye, Charles Mound. And I can move on to my next 2 that I'd like to tackle sometime in the next year or 2. And those are Highpoint of Utah, which is called Kings Peak, I believe. I should know this. And then the other one is Bora Peak in Idaho. And both of those pretty excited about. So those are the 2 that I'm sort of penciling in as my next 2, and that'll put me right at 45 total. But after that, things get really tricky, and we'll see what happens after that. At any rate, we are already back down on the flat stretch of the road here, and it's just a short beeline back to the car. So there you go, Charles Mound, everyone. Highly recommend checking it out. Don't come here if you're looking for some sort of overwhelming excitement. Come here just for the unique experience of it, and for knowing that you were able to access a parcel of land that's not only special geographically, but also special because it is only open to the public on special days of the year. And with that, I think I'm going to sign off and enjoy this last little bit of greenery to myself. We'll end this little adventure and make our way back to Denver. Yes, we made it back to the car just as it's starting to rain pretty good. Let's get the hell out of here. Now that's what I call good timing. It's raining. It's raining pretty good too. You gotta love the ridiculous roadside curiosities in rural America. Check this out. Tiny spaceship. What is that? Crazy little dinosaurs. And a red-winged blackbird right there. That's pretty cool.